Welcome to Ask Hypnotica 67. We are going to talk about a subject today that is of extreme importance, and that has to do with your communication skills and your ability not to step down and to believe in your beliefs and be able to defend your beliefs and change their mind along the way. Because a lot of people out there, especially if you get good at what you're doing, and like take my life, for example, okay? I am not living the most traditional life, just not, all right? Lots of people have come at me, lots of people, okay? Friends, family, neighbors, everyone, okay, comes at me with how they think that my life should be and my own philosophy on things. So, one of the things that I had to get really good at is basically changing their mind, all right? And I'm pretty good at it, all right? So, these are the things that I want to talk about because this letter comes in from a guy who basically says like this. This is his question. This is how this whole thing is coming upon us today. All right. How do you deal with conflict in the sense that you state your belief in a conversation, then the other person berates you and says your belief is stupid? Okay. When it's physical, I only respond if I'm backed into a corner. Most of the time, it never becomes physical and I back down, change the topic, or leave. You're about to learn something very important here today. Now, what do you do when your beliefs are challenged aggressively? Well, the first thing you need to do is educate yourself. Okay, educate yourself on who you are, what you're about, what your beliefs are. Okay, now if your belief is something like you're a Democrat, then it could be stupid. All right, if you voted for Hillary Clinton, it could be stupid. All right, now don't take offense, because if you had the skills, you could defend upon this as well, but you're not. So, and you're sitting out there listening to it. So take it. Now, these are the things that I want to talk about. There's so many things you can do to change anything in a conversation. I highly recommend, okay, and I tell all my clients and I tell my students this, these are the things that you should go do. You should go get a book called Sleight of Mouth and Mind Lines. All right. These are ways to take any kind of conversation, any kind of belief, and change the way people are listening to them. All right. For example, some of the examples that they use in the book is like cancer causes death. Okay. And now if you want to just sit there and go, oh, I agree with that. Okay. That's great. That's what typical numb-minded men do. But you're different than that, okay? I guarantee you're different than that. If you're listening to this, you're different, okay? In a good way, in a think for yourself way. So they come at you with a belief cancer causes death. Now, if you just take it, you take it. Now, if you want to think, this is what you do. You say, well, no, actually, cancer just causes a breakdown in the cell, okay? And the overall immune system is what is healthy. And if that breaks down, then you probably die, okay? Or you could say, well, if everyone had that belief, then I guess everyone who had cancer would be dead. Or you could say, well, that's not a great belief to have because that's only going to lead to something in the future that you're probably going to be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Or you could say something like, well, don't you think that it's more important to focus on health, on nutrition and positivity and life other than that? Or you could say, hey, cancer causes death. And you should say, how much death per cell does it actually cause? Okay, or you could say something like cancer causes death. And you'd say, well, has there ever been a person who had cancer and lived? Okay, or you could say, well, if everyone believed that, then everyone would be dead. See, these are the kind of things that you can do anytime you run into a certain belief. Okay, they're called mind lines or sleight of mouth. And I could go on. There's like 14 different patterns, but I'm going to keep it short because I don't want to get too deep into it right now. All right, but there's also other things you could say. Like it depends on how you want to interact with a person. Okay, me personally, like I kind of like it. It's kind of fun for me when people come at me with stuff. I like to change their mind a little bit and and get them to think bigger, because they always say, well, you always have to be right. I go, no, actually I don't have to be right, but from my perspective, I see things the way I do, and the way I live my life is I create the reality that I live in, and it's so far away from other people's reality that they don't really understand it. So if you live in truth, okay, if you live in truth, you never have to lie and you never have to back down because it's your reality. It's what you're experiencing. Do you understand that? It's what you are bringing to the table. And so if you're bringing something new and you're bringing something original to the table, then you get to update their mindset. You get to enlighten them on the subject, because you know what? If you're living it and you have a philosophy about it, you're doing it. Like my lifestyle, for example. A lot of people say, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Well, I've been doing it for like 20 years, okay? Even though everyone tells me that I shouldn't be doing it or I can't do it or it's never going to work, hey, I've learned a lot, and it's working out pretty well for me in a lot of the areas, okay? Now, there's other things you can do if you want to get more confrontational. You can say, if he says, oh, that belief was stupid, you said, well, that belief that was stupid was actually stupid. You could do a little confusion technique and just go, because you could have said that belief is imbecilic, that belief is dull-witted, that belief is dull, that belief is foolish, futile, laughable, ludicrous, senseless, unintelligible, dopey, idiotic, witless, obtuse. So you could have said that belief is stupid in a much more intelligent way. I just want to point that out, that, only stupid people use sometimes dumb and dull and dim-witted words. So you could have it that way a little bit. But the thing is like I said, I'm going to go back to truth a little bit. Because if you're living your truth, okay, and you have a belief, and now, listen, it could be dumb. I'm not going to say that it's not, because it could be a dumb belief, all right? So I don't want to say that it's not. But if you believe it and you're going for it and you're living it, okay, then it's your reality, and that's a big difference. So I wanted to point that out because, like I said, a lot of people may say things to put you down. Now, if you can reframe it in them, that's what's called, like, reframe the situation or reframe the words or change the beliefs. You could even go to a higher level of thinking and said, well, what is this really about? Well, this is really about you trying to make me feel bad for my beliefs, okay? And only bad people, try to make people feel bad about their beliefs. There's so many different ways that you can change it. I love twisting people up, all right? It's one of the things that got me very far in this job that I do, not only in the strip club, because trust me, getting a person to get out of the club when they're drunk, all right, non-physically, all right, that's one of the good things. Matter of fact, here's a little knowledge, here's a little fact. 24 years, I've only had to get physical 7 times with a customer to get them out, okay? Now, my goal in this situation is basically get them out, okay, do a little woo-woo on them, and have them give me a $20 tip and thank me for kicking them out. That's my personal thing. So you can change a person's beliefs if you want, okay? The main thing is like, why are you backing down? If you're backing down, it means that you're not sure about the belief, or you're not sure enough about yourself to follow through. And it should never get physical, okay? These are debates, okay? What's going on right now in politics as far as like free speech, as far as what the far left is doing, okay? Trying to get physical, not good, okay? That's like fascism, all right? You don't want to be like that. You want to have a mind. You want to be able to debate. And you don't have to be friends with the person in order to debate. I have lots of people that I have discussions with and I disagree with, and that's okay, okay? And usually, I frame it in a way, I call it this, like the post and go. What they do is they post, and then I ask questions about it, and then they answer one or two, and I keep on asking questions about it because I've studied and I know the answers to these things, and then all of a sudden they just disappear. Okay, if you could get a person to that level, that's good. That's what you want to do because it means you're a free thinker. Start studying. Look at these things right here, okay? Have some fucking chutzpahs. Get your fucking balls. Drop them down a little bit, okay? At least a quarter of an inch, okay? And stand up for yourself and start studying and learning these things so that you can change and reframe any situation so that you have a good disposition in your own life and you're proud to be you and you're proud of your own beliefs and you're going to stick by it because that's what men do. With that, this is Hypnotica 67 out.